Today with me is George Balfour. How are you, George?
I'm good, thanks, Nicholas. How are you?
Tired. Exams.
Fair.
Oh my god, exams!
Yes.
I'm... They're fun.
Very stressful, yes.
Your reaction says everything. Anyway, George, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a sixth year student. I've got, with school, I've got 2 days left of school, and then I've got my exams. I'm off to uni. I like music. I've been involved in like the hockey team and different clubs around the school. So yeah, it's kind of scary coming to the end of my time here.
End of your... Sounds like you're dying.
Fortunately not.
Fortunately not. Okay. I thought you said unfortunately for a moment. I was like, okay, that little bit dark. So, 2 more days of school, and I think like Friday at your school, it's traditionally seen as like you don't really.
Oh yeah, no, it's like we're going to kind of a sports facility thing, and it's games, and apparently there's like a silent disco or something. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I think it'll be good.
Breaking out the dance move, good old. I know you have an infamous.
Like at the dance.
Yeah, exactly.
School dance, yes.
Infamous white boy dance.
Oh no.
I heard you're incredible at it.
Yeah. It wasn't great.
Don't worry, I have an incredible great white boy.
Oh
dance
yeah, no. Well, I saw you in the center of the crowds.
Oh
the dance.
yeah, Jesus!
It's brilliant.
Yeah, for people are probably listening to it out of context, like quite confusingly. But okay, anyway, so pretty much tomorrow is your last real full day of school.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
It's a mix. It's scary. It's really scary, definitely, because I've been at this school for 13 years at the end of this year, because I was at the primary school. So loads of the people, there's quite a few people in the year that have done the same. So there's been people I've surrounded by since I was 5. So that's like, it's big pressure in that, but also it's really good because the summer's like a whole new, after the summer, university and everything, it's like a whole new section of my life.
Exactly. It seems scary to change like the unknown, but there's something exciting, wouldn't you? Or would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. It's, going to a new place or meeting new people, it's exciting. Yeah,
and talking about meeting new people, where do you want to go, or what do you want to study?
I've got an offer from Edinburgh, uni, to do history. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Which that would be the main one. That's my number one choice. I've been waiting for that and got it a couple of weeks ago. So that's really good. So I'm excited to do that.
So history.
Yeah.
First of all, I didn't expect you to be a history person. Not gonna lie.
I've always liked history. I think. I wrote in my personal statement. You big everything up in your personal statement. In my personal statement, I was like, I've loved history since I went to Rome when I was 7 and saw the Colosseum or something, which is huge exaggeration, but it's kind of true. It's like stuff like that I've really enjoyed, and I've been on trips like that and seen old things and then read books and stuff like that. It's just interesting.
I mean, fair enough. History is quite fascinating, and it's something quite interesting. Britain has quite a lot of history, and talking about this history, what do you want to keep continuing studying history, or where do you want to go? Because it seems history is a little bit of a dead end.
It's really one of the reasons, I enjoy history, but one of the other kind of main reasons I'm doing it is because it's like a really wide topic. Like, I can study history, obviously, and I can do, I'm like interested in like maybe modern history or like really like ancient civilizations, so like the Romans especially and stuff like that, as opposed to like in sixth year this year we're doing the medieval Scotland, which is something I'm not interested in at all. But it'd still be enjoyable, and I think one of the reasons I'm doing it is because it's not just opening the fact there's loads of things I can study, it's opening the fact that it's not limiting me down one path for like careers and stuff like that, and it kind of keeps my options open for further down in life.
Fair enough. And talking a little bit about history, I took history for my Nap 5, which
Oh,
was
yeah.
a bypass.
Yes.
And then I decided, no way. Yeah, I think history is like,
Yeah.
you know, like at the beginning, like S1, S2,
Mm.
fun,
Yes.
easy test, just remember facts. S3, just like,
Sources.
yeah, sources, essays. I was like, this is a trap.
Yes. Yeah.
How?
It's definitely different. I mean, there's a lot of technique in, I think mainly with SQ. I think it's different when you go to uni and write dissertations and essays, but especially with like higher history, so much is about technique and, you know, writing it in a way that they'll give you a mark, like a knowledge mark, an analysis mark, and all that. And yeah, no, it's difficult. I mean, this year I had to do a dissertation, which is something I've never done before.
What does a dissertation just do?
It was a big, you know, about 3,000 word essay, or no, 3,850, I think, or no, right, something around there, or 4,000 or something.
Something around 4,000.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Huge number.
A big number. And I did. We had to do it on the topic we were studying, so Robert the Bruce and medieval Scottish history and stuff like that. So mine was on the impact of Robert the Bruce, and yeah, it's less formulae. Again, it's more, you know, evidence gathering and then sourcing, you know, looking at books and then writing from those sources and then footnoting and bibliographies and everything like that. It was a long process.
Not my cup of tea. I'm not gonna lie, not my cup of tea. I mean, I think the biggest thing Robert Bruce did is besides Scottish patriotism, is the movie industry.
True. I mean, Outlaw King.
Outlaw King.
That was a couple years ago.
I loved Outlaw King. Outlaw King was...
Yeah, it was. I only watched it while I was doing my dissertation. I'd never seen it before, so I was like, all right, now was a good time. It was all right. It was okay. Chris Pine was good.
I enjoyed it.
Good for you, Nicholas.
Yeah, a little bit Scottish nationalism and
truth. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, what was William Wallace, the other one, like?
Oh yeah,
Braveheart.
Oh, which has been pointed out about 10 times by my history teacher, how inaccurate that is with all the blue paint and kilts and everything. No, I've never seen Braveheart, but that's what Dr. McQueen's been saying.
I can remember me watching it on holiday one time. And my dad, and I text my dad, I'm gonna watch Braveheart tonight, and then like you know, like the end fight scene where they like taunt the English. My dad wrote me like 5 minutes later, now you have seen Scottish spots.
Fair.
Yeah, just
it's
like
very similar. I've been to a rugby game before. It's a lot like that.
Really?
Yeah. In Murrayfield.
It's Scottish culture is truly something.
Yes.
A little bit away from history. You are also interested in music.
Yeah, I play the violin and I play the guitar, and you know I've been part of like the musical kind of societies, clubs and that of the school for years, but music in general, I think in the last like couple years I've found myself listening to a lot more music, just especially in lockdown, just by myself. And kind of knowing more about music culture, I guess.
So your lockdown coping mechanism, or
your
new hobby,
exactly
was getting a little bit, can I say, obsessed with music?
I mean, around lockdown, in lockdown 2, I started listening to a lot of
Lockdown 2, The Great Boongaloo.
Oh no, like a movie. In lockdown 2, which was there's a lot more studying involved rather than the first one. I was definitely studying and then listening to like an album at the same time, which kind of was really interesting. Or just because my parents, they've like a lot of music, and my stepdad's got a record collection in the house in this cupboard, and he's got loads of them, and then we turntables, and so they've had a lot of musical knowledge that they play any instruments. I think I'm the first person. My brother tried to learn the guitar, but I don't think he learned any notes or anything. He just learned a couple popular songs. But
is it Wonderwall one of them?
Wonderwall is probably one of them.
Wonderwall is like the base.
When I first learned the guitar, I think Wonderwall was maybe my first piece.
Maybe.
Oh, it's too much sometimes, that song. Yeah, so they've kind of told me about lots of songs and albums and artists that they've liked, and then I've found stuff. I mean, I've got to say, like, especially with a large amount of using TikTok
really?
I think on TikTok it can be one community forcing kind of certain artists down your throat, but also it can also be really like eye-opening for different, especially I'd say rap artists probably, and then other musical artists. And I think I learned a lot from watching, which is quite sad, but like sitting about at home having nothing to do and watching TikTok and be like, oh, okay, I'll go listen to that artist or that album or whatever. So that's been interesting.
And what do you think this listening to his music like gave to you?
Well, I mean, it gave me more knowledge of, I mean, just culture in general, pop culture a lot. I think like I did listen to, and it probably is like one of my favorite genres is rap, and I listened to a lot of rap music in lockdown last year, and just there's so much of behind the culture of that, especially in like America. It's just such a big thing, and I listen to a lot of rap music and then other genres as well, and it's kind of given me a wider view on different cultures of the world and different musical cultures of the world, and where you can hear sounds from. And like sometimes it's interesting to like listen to a song that maybe samples something or interpolates something, and then go back and find out that sample, and then you find a really interesting song that you may never have heard. Like, just a random example is I was watching the final Virgil Abloh Louis Vuitton fashion show after he died, and there's this video that was going viral of Kanye sitting next to Pharrell, and they were listening to some weird 70s Brazilian music. So then I went and listened to the 70s Brazilian music from some girl group from 1972, and then listened to the whole album, and then it became a whole other musical genre I loved because of one clip of a fashion show on YouTube.
This feels kind of like a rabbit hole.
It is a bit, yes, definitely.
Is this? Are we talking about similar rabbit hole like Wikipedia article?
Oh
just
yeah, 100%. Just clicking whatever link appears next.
Yeah, just like oh yeah. And before you know it, like in half an hour is gone, and and you forgot. Oh, my original assignment was about something.
Exactly.
Happened too many times.
Yes, definitely.
Procrastination is truly something amazing.
Yeah, and again, bringing it back to like lockdown and that, so much procrastinating going on.
Jesus, which one? 2 or the second one, the Great Boogaloo?
I'd say the second one, definitely. The Great Boogaloo. Definitely a lot more procrastination went on in that one.
Let's hope we don't get a trilogy.
Oh no.
If we get a Transformers movie amount of lockdowns,
I'm
gonna lose
horrible.
my crap. I'm gonna
know
lose.
how many Transformers movies there are now.
Too many.
Fair.
Too many. I've who's the director called?
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay. I think he made all his money from like Transformers.
Probably just having giant robots blow each other up and then step on cities. I loved that. I'd loved the first Transformers film when I was about, how old was I? I think I was 5. And then my dad took me to go and see it, or I watched it, he gave me the DVD, and I became obsessed with that film. I thought it was the best film ever. I loved it. Only to find out, like, when I was probably about 13, that there was so much nostalgia behind it that was probably the reason I loved it so much.
I think, I don't know, when I was younger, staying a little bit on Transformers, there was like a cartoon show, like the 3D one.
Yes, I remember that. There was Transformers Prime or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Good show.
Yeah.
I think I had the DS game.
You had the DS?
Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah. I don't know if it was good or not, because let's be honest, when you're young, you don't have taste.
Yeah, exactly. When you're young, you'll watch whatever, especially if it's robots jumping about and turning into cars. Great fun.
Yeah. Nothing better than just seeing robots just snacking.
Exactly. Beating each other up and then driving away as a wee yellow Beetle. It's brilliant.
Yeah, you can get your own moral lesson out of there. Like, should children watch this? Oh, no. Should children watch Coco Melon?
No, they shouldn't.
God.
Destroying 2-year-olds' minds.
I have a 21-year-old cousin. She is absolutely obsessed with those kind of cartoons, and I ask my aunt every time I see her, do you think we're brainwashing our children? And she, with a straight face, she looks me in the eye. Yes.
Wow, that's intense.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I just want to see like full on like Coco Melon style communist propaganda, just as a joke. I want to say, but I think that would be quite fun.
That would be funny.
But some people would take it seriously.
Knowing Twitter, some people definitely would take it seriously.
You know what? I'm throwing out ideas for China. just
Oh,
Yeah, just gotta need the ad revenue from China.
fair.
Yeah, don't want to get banned by them.
Channel does probably get a lot of ad revenue.
Oh, this?
Why are we talking about Coco Melon?
Okay, let's resume back.
Yes.
We were talking about we were talking about China, Coco Melon, Transformers, and music.
Yes.
Want to go back to music?
Fair, why not?
Yeah, rabbit hole again.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing what I am a little bit obsessed with is music in film and in TV series.
Yeah.
I if there's a good show with like a good score,
Definitely.
I just download it. Do you have a favorite score or like soundtrack?
I mean, right, the film. There's something about the film. I was like 13. But when I watched, I know it's not an amazing film, which is kind of a meh film, but Wonder Woman, right, the Gal Gadot one, meh
The
film.
first one or the second one?
First one. No, the second one's terrible. Second one,
I didn't see the second one. So.
Watched the second one with my dad. Terrible. But the first one, I made like this whole kind of violin guitar score thing, main theme, and it sounds amazing. I mean, that's just, it's not like an iconic one, you know, obviously like Indiana Jones would be up there and something like that. Or, yeah, exactly, it's brilliant. And Star Wars, and then
pretty much everything
John Williams did.
Yeah, oh god, I think E.T.
E.T., another good one.
I cried at that one. That was at the end. I cried twice in that movie.
Yes.
Like when E.T. was about to die, or when it looked like he was about to die in home.
That was sad.
My 12-year-old self could not take it.
But the movie, just think about like crying at kids' movies. The movie, the movie that made me one of the most sad, really weird choice, was when I was about 8 or 9, and I watched Kung Fu Panda 2. That film, is it wee baby Po is taken away from his parents at one point. I was crying. I don't really know why, but
baby Po got you.
Yeah, I know he did. He got to me.
The Kung Fu Panda series is quite good, I would say. It's like one of the few gems from DreamWorks. Not few gems. I mean DreamWorks. Megamind, another great one. Shrek. Yeah, it's dropping a Scottish stereotype.
Shrek's accent.
I mean, I'm just saying. I was on Saturday on a walk, and there was a bus like broken down, and there was like M77, something like that. There was like Shrek for Fiona there, and like Donkey, and I was like,
oh my god,
what am I gonna make out of this? I was just staring at it for a minute straight, thinking, can they even do that with copyright laws? Just slapping it on there.
Yeah.
I'm just don't know. Shrek did something for Scotland. Many other movies could not.
Fair. That accent got people in America perfecting Scottish accents.
Shrek.
Even if Shrek isn't the best Scottish accent.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can say Shrek put Scotland on the map.
Shrek did put Scotland on the map. Shrek, Donkey, and wee Gingy. That put Scotland on the map. Wasn't anything else.
Oh yeah, nothing or ancient history.
Nothing like the culture, the bagpipes. I hate the bagpipes, but nothing like that. It was all Shrek. It was all Shrek.
All hail our Lord and Savior Shrek.
But I mean that's like just going back to soundtracks and that. With a score, I think it can do a lot for film. But then again, there's the films that there's just scenes that have other music in them. Obviously they've got the rights to, and that's amazing when you've got a film that's got just an amazing soundtrack of not even popular songs but just really good songs that haven't been originally composed for the film. It's just elevates it.
Yeah, I think what is your opinion with the rise of recently old songs coming back in movies, like for example Guardians of the Galaxy? Like they rely heavily on this nostalgia.
Yeah, definitely. Like the first one is loads of soul, and then it goes to start more in the second Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a lot of pop and rock from the 70s and 80s and stuff, I think.
But I think that fits with the movie.
Yeah,
too.
Definitely. I really like it. I think when I'm watching when you're watching a film like that and you hear some sort of old song, for example, some sort of old swing song or soul song from the 60s or 70s, it just can put you in the moment, and it just sounds really good. Like watching, you notice it a lot in even if it's not in a more new film, or for example a new film like The Irishman, the Mafia
Mhm.
film a couple years ago.
The Mafia film. Yes, we have.
Ye-
Yeah,
the
from
Irish-
the
yes.
huge.
Okay, but
amount
you
of
know, the
Mafia.
big Martin Scorsese Mafia one that came out in like 2019 or something. That really good film, but a lot of the time there's like just old 70s and 60s swing and soul and a bit of jazz and stuff like that. I don't know about jazz, but and it kind of puts you in the kind of feel of what it's like in, you know, I don't know, I can't remember what city they're in, but like, you know, New York in the 60s or the 50s or something.
I might not think of Frank Sinatra's New York.
Well, exactly that kind of stuff that just sounds really good in that film. It's that good song.
Yeah, and talking a little bit more side scores, because I think we can all agree a great score enhances the scene so much better.
Yeah.
How do you think? I think you had. I don't know where I heard it. Might be wrong, but you had some arguments with how the Scotland, like, the music is taught, or like how it focuses on.
I did. That was my speech. I did a speech in for the school, like at an assembly. You know, loads of people do speeches throughout school and sixth years, and I did it on the music curriculum in Scotland, and I thought I just mainly I was talking about because I took music to higher, so you know I did like A level.
And you did the advanced higher just for fun.
Yeah, I also did the advanced. I did the advanced higher prelim without taking the subject just for fun.
And you passed.
I was 1 mark off passing. I thought I'd pass, and I thought I'd beat someone who actually took the subject, but it turns out he got 1 mark more than me. But still, I hadn't taken the subject since higher, and I was 1 mark off passing, so I'll take that as an achievement.
Hey, respect.
Thanks, Nicholas. I was hoping I'd be able to do the actual advanced higher paper, but it's like an invigilator from out of school, so I'm not allowed.
Horrible.
I know. But yeah, no, that speech I talked about, I think in music they focus a lot on, I mean, you spend about, I'd say, 70 to 80% of the year, probably about 70% of the year, talking about, you know, like real old music, so like classical and baroque and romantic and stuff like that in the early 20th century. And it's, you know, it's important. I was kind of saying in the speech that I think that's still an important thing to talk about. I just think that they could talk about so much more. I mean, pop, they only talk about the biggest pop songs from, like, I'd say up until 2015, and then it kind of just cuts off. And sure, you know, they can't keep up to date all the time, but I think it should be more kind of encompassing or inclusive of different musical cultures and genres.
I mean, yeah, one is, I mean, a counter argument saying that keeping up to date more is that it can be quite annoying with past papers, because one thing in computing is quite a struggle is they change course all the time for computing, because I mean, technology just goes up.
Yeah.
And so one thing that happens, we only have pretty much 2 past papers just to prepare us for, so not really quite more. Yeah. So that might be a counter argument, but maybe what do you think the reason is that we focus so much on old music instead of like the newer one? And
well, it's obviously it's the people that run it will be, you know, people who classically trained musicians, so guys that went to, I don't know where the music schools are, but fancy music school in London where they played, maybe this person played the clarinet, let's say, in an orchestra. Then they grew up and they got to the top of that orchestra, and then they started teaching music that they learned in up their grades, and then into the orchestra, and then in different ensembles, and then, you know, that's what they're teaching. That's kind of what you're stuck teaching, instead of focusing on, even, like, for example, one of the points that I made was rap. I talked about the fact that it is mentioned once and it's never in it. It'll basically not appear in the paper. Maybe once every like 3 years you'd have one question that's like, what genre is this? And it's pretty obvious. But it's the kind of thing that it's hardly mentioned, and there's so much culture behind that.
Yeah.
That goes back to, like, you know, the 80s is kind of when it starts to become prominent. So, you know, it's not like even it's only a recent thing. It's been around for 40 years.
One of my question is too, since rap is quite more of quite a lot of rappers that come to my head are more not white, besides Eminem. That's the only one I can think of right now.
Yes.
So maybe do you have to do something with
I think there is. I think, you know, the people that will be writing the syllabus will probably most likely be some white guy, maybe in his 50s or 60s, or maybe even older, you know. And I don't think they'll know about like the complexities of that music, and they'll write it off because it's not what they're used to. And you know, I think there may be some sort of race aspect to it in the fact that there's musicians that we're not taught about that are black that are hugely popular, are hugely influential in music history. Like one of the examples I gave was Lauryn Hill, who's a huge singer from the 90s. She's won Grammys for she made one album solo, and singer and rapper, and she made like R&B music and neo soul music and hugely influential. And she's not mentioned once, except some of her stuff could probably directly kind of inspire lots of popular music nowadays. And it's just, there's definitely an aspect of that where black artists won't be discussed unless you're maybe talking about some jazz, which again doesn't appear much. It appears a bit in the syllabus, but it's not. I think jazz is given more of a spotlight, and I think that is fair because it's a well-known genre. But in terms of black artists, that'll probably be in a higher music paper where you'll find them, as if there's a question on something of jazz.
Yeah, I just want to say we are no experts in here, so we don't actually know who writes it.
Yeah,
it's just
exactly. That's
a little
fair.
bit speculation, so let's just give them the benefit of the doubt and saying that school is just hard to change. I mean, maths is pretty much still the same.
Agree. Yeah, I didn't bring it up in the speech because I didn't bring up the whole racial argument in the speech because I didn't want to, you know, accuse someone of something they haven't actually done. But it's something that could be considered, I think. Yeah,
and I mean, it's just fair enough to say it, just to put it open. Doesn't mean that needs to be true. It's just saying that, hey, this is something people might see, so maybe you want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So let's say if you would have a magic wand and you could change how music is taught at our school, what would you do, or taught all over Scotland?
I definitely think, I mean, Miss McGlynn in our school, she who teaches music, she's definitely already at, I think in the months after I made that speech, she changed a bit for the S1 and S2 curriculum, and I think you should, you know, you spend so much time on old music like Baroque and classical, and I think you should still learn about that because it's important if you're playing an instrument, because lots of the time instruments do tend to be, you know, playing classical music, but when you're learning, but I think that should just be one aspect of the course, not 70%. And I think it should be like that, and then learning about rock music. I'm not a big fan of rock music, but I know it's important to pop music and popular music today. I think pop music is covered, but I definitely think that it's only, which I think is fair, the big hits, and you're talked about pop will have verses. So I think pop music does get a bit of representation, but then definitely R&B and rap are really just some things. And I know, you know, someone might make the argument, you know, there's lots of swearing in rap, which I think is fair when you're teaching the younger pupils. But there's so much that you could find where it's clean, it's been edited out, or it's literally just someone who isn't swearing, that you could teach younger, like maybe 12 to 15-year-olds about the music without, you know, swearing at them all the time. And I think that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough to say. I mean, I don't think swear words should be taught children in school, but they will experience it outside it anyway, so you cannot even say that it might be like help them to get into those bad words. But
all 12 and 13-year-olds are swearing.
Yeah, let's be honest.
They swear the worst in the schools, to be honest. You'll be in the changing room with a 12-year-old and he's just swearing.
Really?
I was in the I was going out for PE one day, and a bunch of 12-year-olds are coming in from like, or first years coming in from a PE class, and they just like have a swear word every like second word in the sentence. And it's trying to act big.
That's a great note to end the podcast with. Yeah. So, George, want to say anything else before we are gonna say?
No, not really. Thanks for having me on. It's been great.
It's been fantastic to have you. Had a blast. Yeah, and thank you very much for listening to STS. I've been your host, Nicholas. Thank you very much to my team, and talk to you later. Bye. Thank you very much for listening to STS. New episodes out every week. If you're interested in coming on the podcast, message us on Instagram. This would not have been possible without Mona Wiki and Connor Hutchison, with a big thanks going to Tanashi Takidi and Ariana Agnifori. Hope you join us for next week.
Cheers.